going to do a vinyasa yoga class, which is a little bit more active than what we've been doing. Good morning, Mom. Nice to see you this morning. Good morning, Pedro. So we'll just wait a moment until everyone gathers, and while you're waiting, go ahead and allow your eyes to close. And just begin listening. Start by listening to any noises that there are around you. Any noises that are far away, noises that are close by. And when you're ready, you can take your listening inside and begin to listen to any sensations that there are. And if you notice that your mind starts analyzing whatever you're listening to, just bring your attention back to listening. And then when you're ready, take your attention to the one who is listening. Or allow yourself, rather than to be what you're listening to be the listener. So we drop down from our minds into our bodies to feel whatever's going on. And then we drop even further into the one that's feeling. We drop into the one who's observing the feelings as they come and go. we drop into the silence that all of the sensations and the sounds come from and return back to. And allow that silence to hold whatever comes up, to give space to whatever comes up. With no need to change or fix anything. Just giving space to whatever is. When you're ready, go ahead and try opening your eyes and just see what it feels like to stay connected to the sensations that are inside while your eyes are open. See what it feels like to stay connected to the one who's aware of the sensations, to stay connected to awareness. And we'll just take one more minute here to practice all of these different layers with our eyes open, but without any movement yet. Seeing without analyzing, feeling, observing, and accompanying the one who's observing. Go ahead and give yourself 3 deep breaths here. And observe how each breath affects you. Observe each breath coming and going. And observe what remains all the time as your breath is coming and going. Let's cross our fingers and extend our palms up to the sky for a moment. Imagine that your hands want to separate, kind of pulling your arms apart slightly. As you exhale, allow your shoulders to drop down and back and feel a lot of space around your arms. And we're just going to do slow circles with our palms, going behind, going to the side, going to the front. Oh, you can bend your elbows as much as you need to. And when you're ready, you can switch directions. Keep yourself observing sensation from the place of the observer. Last big circle. And we're going to take the palms behind our heads and open our elbows and open our heart and stretch out a little bit. And taking your hands behind your back, crossing your fingertips, lengthening your arms, bringing your shoulder blades together. Just feeling whatever sensation comes and goes. Last deep breath here. And giving yourself a big hug. And you can either take your feet to the side and come up to table pose, or you can rock yourself forward to table pose, taking your feet out from underneath you. And we're going to do just a couple cat-cows, separating your fingers as much as you can. Opening the front body as you inhale, opening the back body as you exhale. If you want, you can open your face and close it. You can make as much noise as you need to. Especially if you're at home alone, you can even scream. Why not? Last simple cat-cow. And now we're going to add a little bit of a hip flexing opener. So as you go in to the relaxed cow, you're just going to allow your hips to drop slightly, not all the way to the ground, just to open a little bit the front, and then go into the scared cat and roll all the way back into a ball. Coming up and slowly opening the front body. And then lifting the belly button to bring yourself back with a rounded back. So I'm keeping my belly button slightly lifted. I'm not letting myself hang. I'm controlling how far down I'm going, just to open nice and slowly. Keeping your fingers spread. And now let's tuck the toes of our feet under. And as we go back, we'll feel a stretch in the soles of the feet. Last time, coming forward, breathing in. And as you breathe out and take your hips to your heels, you're going to slowly lift your knees slightly off the ground. Keep your hips going as far back as you can and bring your heart towards your knees. So let's do a shoulder roll down and back with our shoulders. Let our heads hang. You can even say no, no, no if you want. Now imagine that your hands want to come together and see what this does muscularly in your arms. Your hands are trying to pull together, and now your feet want to separate. And see what that does at the top of your hips and your sits bones. My legs still aren't straight yet. We're keeping our knees bent. One last deep breath here. And drop back down to your knees. Untuck your toes, and we're going to relax in a ball with our arms extended in front of us. Completely release your head to the ground. Exhale and release your heart in between your shoulders as much as possible. Drop your heart towards your knees. If you have a hard time sitting back because your feet aren't flexible enough, you can roll a mat or a blanket or anything right underneath your ankles so that your feet don't have to be as pointed. We're going to take a step to the right with our hands and keep sitting back on that left hip down into your left heel. And just fill the left lung with air. Feel the separation in the left ribs. One last deep breath here, dropping down as much as you can into your hip and lengthening out as much as you can your left arm. And we'll walk our hands over to the left side, just one step, doesn't have to be too far. And drop into that right hip down into your right heel. Fill your right lung with air, separate the ribs. One last deep breath here. And coming back to the center, I'm going to switch my angle with you again. Inhale, coming back up to the table pose. Again, tuck the toes, and we're going to, again, lift the knees slightly here, and we're going to start doing big circles. So we're going to go down, back, up, and forward with our hips. I'm never even straightening my legs completely, practically. I'm still keeping my joints really soft. Everything's soft and mobile. The shoulders are mobile, even the elbows are mobile. The knees are mobile, the ankles. Everything is just kind of getting lubricated here. And when you're ready, you can do in the other direction. Down, forward, up and back. Down, forward, up and back. If this is hard for you, just make the circle really small. If you have more arm strength, you can go forward a little bit more. One last circle. And we'll stay in downward dog, back and lifted. So this time we are going to start straightening our legs little by little. Again, imagine that your hands want to come together and your feet want to separate. As you inhale, lift your tailbone. As you exhale, bring your rib cage together. Lift the tailbone without splaying the ribs. Allow your heels to release as much as possible. And then we're just going to take small steps forward with our feet. Really small. One little step, another little step. Allow your knees to bend as you start coming closer to your hands. Allow your heels to begin to drop down into the ground. Begin to take some of the weight off of your hands until at some point your feet get close enough that all of the weight is in your feet. Exhale, release the head completely here. Release your shoulders to your ears. Exhale, release any thoughts that you have and allow yourself just to feel the body dropping. And we're just going to slowly rock ourselves forward and back. We're going to rock ourselves to our heels and rock ourselves to our toes. You You may not have your legs completely straight yet, that's fine. And try and find your center where you have weight in the heels, in the balls of the feet, and the toes are lengthened and spread. We're going to inhale and we're going to extend our head as far forward as we can. Come up to the fingertips. It's okay if your legs are still a little bit bent, that's fine. Go ahead and lift your tailbone. As you exhale, take your shoulders away from your ears. Fill and empty your lower belly. Feel weight in your heels and the balls of your feet. One last deep breath here. And as you exhale, release your upper body and take a big step back with your right foot, and we're going to place the right knee on the ground. And we're going to start with the stretch that we always start with to lubricate our hips. Inhaling, bending the left knee to release a little bit forward. Exhaling, coming back and extending a little bit that left leg and releasing your head. Inhale, spread the 5 toes of that left foot. Exhale, release your head. You can make fists with your hands if you want to, if that's a nice height for you. Or you can keep the fingers on the ground of the palms. Don't force any of this movement because we're repeating it enough that you can just keep it smooth and soft, and it'll open little by little. One last time. And we're going to remain forward this time. Go ahead and tuck the toes under of that back right foot. Lift the back knee and take a moment here just to feel the back heel extending to the back wall, the head extending to the front wall. Feel weight in the heel. If you feel like the majority of the weight is in the ball of the foot, you're going to have to walk your feet a little further forward so that you're really sharing the weight between the heel and the ball of the foot. And the toes can spread and relax in the front. Nice. Let's go ahead and take this left leg back with the right leg and do a straight line. I'm using fists, but you can also use hands flat on the ground, whatever you prefer. Lifting your belly button. One last deep breath. And again, dropping to your knees and coming back to your ball. This time we're going to take our arms to the sides of the body and release the elbows and release the shoulders. Exhale, release the weight of your head. Relax your stomach. Sitting back onto your heels. Go ahead and cross your fingers behind your back and lengthen your arms behind you towards the back wall. Take your shoulders away from your ears, and then we're going to inhale and we're going to lengthen the top of our head towards the front wall. So you should still be looking at the ground. It's the back of your neck that's long, and you want to see if you can create almost a flat back like a table. As you exhale, soften the hip flexors. You're going to deepen. Where your hips are bending, are folding, is almost like folding a piece of paper. Really allow the crease to fold deeply in the front of the hips. And that's done by releasing and softening the front of the hips. One last deep breath here. exhale, releasing the head, releasing the arms. And let's lengthen our arms forward to come back up to the table pose. Take your shoulders away from your ears and slightly lift your belly button just to protect the lower back. As you exhale, you're going to take the head forward and allow the elbows to bend to the sides of the body. And as you inhale, you're going to come back up to the table pose. If this is impossible for you because of arm strength, you can always bring your pelvis down first, then your chest. Come up a little bit with your chest and then with your pelvis. If you have enough arm strength to keep your pelvis lifted off the ground slightly the whole time, then go ahead and try that. Exhale as you go forward. Inhale as you come back. Spread your fingers. Let's do one more. And this time we're going to come all the way down and we're going to release our hips to the ground and extend our arms in front of us. If you can, take your forehead to the ground. If that's uncomfortable and you can't breathe like that, then you can look to the side, but it's preferable to be looking straight down if possible. You're going to completely release your legs and you're just going to activate your right arm and extend your right arm forward so much that it lifts a centimeter off the ground. I'm just going to talk you through this. So you're looking at the ground. You don't have to look at me. Just extend your right arm so far forward that it lifts 1 centimeter off the ground. You feel as if someone's lengthening your fingertips as far away as possible. And then you're going to slowly drop that right arm back down onto the ground as far away, the hand as far away from you as possible. Keep your head completely relaxed on the ground and activate your left arm. Extend, extend, extend your left arm so far away from you that it lifts a centimeter off the ground. Take one last deep breath. And slowly drop the left arm as far away from you as possible. You're going to completely release your upper body and you're just going to activate the right leg. Extend the toes of your right leg so far away from you that the whole right leg lifts slightly off the ground. And you're really lengthening, lengthening, lengthening towards the back. Take one last deep breath here, creating as much space as you can. And as you exhale, you're going to drop that right leg back down on the ground. And then activate the left leg, extending, extending, extending. Imagine that someone's pulling the left toes. Take one last deep breath here. And as you exhale, drop the left leg back down onto the ground. Take a moment just to visualize the line that goes from the fingertips of the right hand down your right arm, across your body and down your left leg, all the way out the toes of your left foot. Now you're going to extend that line as much as you can by lengthening your right arm forward and your left leg back, so much that they both lift slightly off the ground and they're extending, extending, extending. And really notice the line that's connecting that arm and that leg through your torso. It's a diagonal line through the torso. One last deep breath here. And exhale, release the right arm and the left leg. Take a deep breath, completely relaxing everything. And begin to visualize the line that goes from the fingertips of the left hand down the left arm, through the torso, down the right leg, out the toes. Inhale and extend this line as much as you possibly can. Lengthening the left arm, lengthening the right leg. Feeling the diagonal line crossing through your torso, connecting the two of them together. Take one last deep breath. And exhale, release them. Make sure your head is completely released. Everything's relaxed. And you're going to visualize the two lines together now. So they're both going in diagonals, and at some point the two lines cross. And see if you can notice where the two diagonal lines cross in your torso. They may cross somewhere around the curve of the lower back, or maybe a little higher or a little lower. Wherever that crossing point is for you, take a deep breath and fill it with air. While you're breathing into that crossing point of those two diagonal lines, extend both arms and both legs as far away as possible. So you have this point where the two, it's an X, where the X crosses, and from that point, all four extremities are extending as far away from the center as possible. One last deep breath, extending. And exhale, completely release your arms and your legs. Now you can take your arms alongside your body with the palms facing upward. And now you're going to extend your head so far forward that it lifts 1 centimeter off the ground. You'll be looking at the ground, lengthening the back of the neck. Feel the highest point of the head lengthening forward. And at the same time, see if you can drop your tailbone away. You might have to slightly lift the belly button to drop the pubic bone and the tailbone down to lengthen your spinal column as much as possible. The tail dropping away, the head lengthening forward. One last deep breath here. Exhale, extend your head forward to drop the forehead into the ground and release. So this time we're going to start from the tail rather than from the head. As you exhale, you're going to slightly lift your belly button. Feel your pubic bone dropping down. Feel your tailbone lengthening down in between your gluteus muscles. So your tailbone is extending. And at the same time, you're going to lengthen the top of your head as much as you can to slightly lift it off the ground. And while we're doing all of this, we're going to take the fingertips towards the back wall and allow the shoulders to move far away from the ears. And it'll lift slightly your shoulders from the ground. So you're doing a back opener, but you're lengthening your spinal column as much as possible at the same time. One last deep breath here. Exhale, completely release your arms and your head, either looking to the side or looking straight down. This will be the last one. So you're going to go ahead and drop your tail, lengthen the top of the head. This time we're going to cross our fingers behind our back and lengthen our arms, bringing our shoulder blades together. Feeling your pubic bone dropping into the ground. Feeling your tailbone dropping between your gluteus muscles. Lengthening the back of the neck. One last deep breath here. And go ahead and take your hands under your shoulders. We're going to slowly press our hands into the ground just a little bit until we start feeling our heart lifting. See if you can lift your belly button so that you support your lower back. We're going to come all the way up just slightly. And when you're ready, you can lift your pelvis, come back to the table pose, tuck the toes under, and we're going to go directly into another downward dog. This time we're going to lift up as high as we can. So you're going to lift your heels, lift your tail, push your hands into the ground and lift your shoulders up to your ears. Keep your tail lifting, lifting, lifting. Keep your heels lifting. Keep your hands pressing into the ground. Release the head. With an exhalation, roll your shoulders down and away from your ears. Exhale, release your heart between your shoulders. And now you're going to exhale and slowly release your heels towards the ground. Keeping your hands coming together, keeping your feet separating. One last deep breath here. And go ahead and take a big step forward with your right foot in between your hands. And we're just going to remain here. Oh no, we did that afterwards. So we're going to drop the knee, the back knee first. Inhale, releasing your hips as you bend that right knee. Exhale, slowly straightening your right leg as much as you want to and releasing your head. Inhale, spread all 5 toes of your right foot as you come forward. And exhale, release back. As you come forward, if you notice that all of the weight is on the ball of your foot and there's no weight on the heel, then you have to walk your foot further forward. You want your weight balanced between the heel and the ball of the foot. Taking a deep breath as you come forward. And releasing as you go back. One more time. And we're going to remain forward this time. Now we'll tuck the toes under the left foot, lift that back left knee, extend the left heel all the way to the back, extend the head all the way to the front. Make sure that you have weight in your heel and in the ball of your foot, and the toes can spread and relax in the right foot. One last deep breath here. And when you're ready, just slightly bend your left knee and take a big step forward. Bring your big toes together. Release your head as much as you can. Exhale, release your shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, release your stomach. Rock yourself to your center where you have weight on the balls and on the heels. Exhale, release any thoughts that you have and just feel whatever is going on in your body. And if you can, connect to the part of you that's observing all of this. Let's go ahead and fly ourselves up, lengthening your arms to the sides, lengthening your head forward as you come up. And exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. So that was our warm-up. We're going to go ahead and start doing some vinyasa yoga now. So we're just going to go in and out of poses. Sometimes staying for a couple of breaths, but not for too long. If it's a pose that's unknown to you or it's feeling too hard for you, then always do something variation-wise that makes it easier for you. We're just going to inhale and sit back, let your hips go back, lift your belly button towards the back of your spine. Exhale, take your heart forward to the other side of your knees. Take the palms of the hands to the ground and look at your knees. Inhale, lengthen your head forward, coming up to the fingertips. Exhale, return, releasing the head, releasing the knees. And we're going to swing our arms forward and up to sitting. And hands in front of your heart. Let's just do that 2 more times. Taking your hips back, Belly button back to the spine. Exhale, extending your heart forward, dropping your head. Inhale, lengthening away, up to the fingertips. Exhale, releasing, softening your knees to swing back up to sitting. And hands in front of your heart. One more time. Weight on your heels and the balls of your feet. Lifting your tailbone. Taking your shoulders away from your ears. Release your head. Lifting your heart. And hands in front. So this time we're going to remain forward. First coming to sitting. Exhale, extend, extend, extend your heart as far forward as you can. Release your head. We're going to take the palms of our hands underneath the soles of our feet. You're going to take your fingers as far back as you can. See if you can touch the tips of your toes to your wrists. It's okay if your knees are slightly bent. See if you can take your torso in contact with your thighs. And from there, slowly lift your tailbone without losing contact between your torso and your legs. Is there weight on your heels and the balls of your feet? Are your toes relaxed? Completely relax the weight of your head. Allow the weight of your head to lengthen your spinal column. One last deep breath here. And taking the hands out from underneath. Inhale, lengthening the head forward. Take the shoulders down and back. Exhale, release, and take another big step back, this time with your left foot. Let's drop the left knee to the ground, and we're going to take our right hand to the inside. My knee and my shoulder are connected together. I'm going to lift my left elbow or my left hand up to the sky. Exhale and take your shoulders away from your ears. Make sure you have weight in that right foot on the heel, the ball, and the toes are spread. One last deep breath here. And exhale, dropping the left hand to the ground and lifting either the right elbow or the right hand up to the sky, whatever is good for you. Slowly bring that right knee towards your heart. Take your shoulders away from your ears. Notice whatever sensations are coming up from the person who's noticing. One last deep breath. And dropping the right hand to the ground. Tuck the toes under of that left foot to lift the left knee. Again, place yourself in a really long line. The heels lengthening back, the head's lengthening forward. You can either place both hands on the ground or both fists on the ground. And we're going to take our right leg back to go into a nice straight line here. If you need to bring your knees to the ground, that's fine. As you exhale, lift your belly button. One last deep breath. And dropping your knees to the ground and relaxing in a ball. This time, go ahead and take your arms to the sides of the body again. Take a moment to release everything. your head so far forward that your head comes slightly off the ground. And you're going to take your left elbow to the ground and just put your chin on your hand. Then we're going to take the right hand on top of the left hand and lift the right elbow up to the sky. Press your right hand down into your left hand enough that your upper body lifts and your hands end up pretty much at the level of your heart. So you're going to lift your torso, and that's going to give you space to twist to the right hand side, twisting from the lower belly, twisting from the center, twisting from the shoulder blades and the heart. Lengthening the head forward, deepening in the hip flexors. One last deep breath here. And exhale, releasing your arms for a moment. Releasing your head, releasing your tail. Exhale and relax your whole upper body. And then lengthen your head forward to lift it off the ground. And go ahead and take your right elbow underneath your chin with your hand. Left hand on top of the right hand. Lift your left elbow up to the sky. And press your left hand down into the right hand to lift your torso up a little bit and twist around that lift. Create the space by pressing down and then move into that space. Opening up to the left from the lower belly, from the center of the back, from the shoulders. Breathe deeply. One last deep breath here. And exhale, releasing for one more breath. Absolutely nothing. And lengthening your arms forward to come back up to the table pose. Taking your shoulders away from the ears, slightly lifting your belly button. We'll do another 5 or 6 chaturangas. Exhale, coming forward. Inhale, going back. Spreading all 10 fingers. Really coordinating your breath with the movement. Bringing the elbows right alongside your body. Touching your body with your elbows. And one last time. Good. Coming all the way forward. Releasing your arms alongside your body. So again, we're going to lengthen the tail by slightly lifting the belly button, dropping the pubic bone into the ground, dropping the tail down between our gluteus. Lengthen the top of the head so that it slightly lifts off the ground. You're going to lift your feet and grab the outside of each foot. And see if you can keep your pubic bone dropping. See if you can keep your tailbone dropping. Now remember the 2 diagonal lines that you had from when you're extending all of your extremities, and breathe into the crossing of the X. If you can, walk your hands all the way down to your ankles. If you can't, that's all right. But if it's possible, then you can flex your feet. Either way, whether you're holding your feet or whether you're holding your ankles, we're going to take our feet away from us now. And we're going to bring our shoulder blades together. And we're going to fill the crossing of the X with air. And we're going to lengthen our spine as much as we can. One last deep breath here. And exhale, completely release everything. Go ahead and place your hands underneath your shoulders. Dropping the tail, lengthening the head, pressing the hands into the ground until you come back up to the table pose. Tucking your toes under. Spreading all 10 fingers, coming back into a really high downward dog. Bring your shoulders up to your ears and then roll your shoulders down and back. Take your shoulders away from the ears, lengthen the neck, drop the head. Exhale, releasing your heels towards the ground. For this next pose, you may take a half step forward with your legs, and if that means you need to bend your knees, that's fine. You can keep your knees slightly bent. We're going to be a little closer than a regular downward dog. We're going to take our I'll start with the other hand so you can see me. We're going to take our left hand and grab a hold of the outer edge of the right ankle. If you can't reach, you can just grab the outer edge of the right leg. And we're going to look underneath our right shoulder and twist the lower belly and twist the center of the back and twist the upper back. If this is too much for you, then go ahead and take your hand back to the ground. And what you can do is you can just bend that left knee and look under without lifting the hand off the ground. One last breath here. And take the left hand back to the ground. So you have two options. You can either bend your right knee and look under your left armpit, or you can lift the right hand off the ground and reach for the outer ankle of the left side and look under your left arm and twist your lower back, the center of the back, and the upper back. Release the head. It's okay if your knees are slightly bent, that's fine. One last deep breath. And slowly bringing the right hand back. Very nice. Go ahead and take a big step forward with your left foot in between your hands. And we're going to drop the right knee to the ground. So you may need to walk the foot a little bit further forward so that you feel the heel and the ball of the foot both stably on the ground. And we're going to go ahead and take our left hand to the inside, connect our left shoulder with our left knee, and you can lift either the right elbow or the right hand up to the sky. Exhale, take your shoulders away from your ears. Feel the weight balanced on that left foot. You can press slightly against your left knee to help open the right shoulder. Give yourself one last deep breath here. And take your right hand to the ground. Slowly either lift your left elbow or your left hand, and you're going to bring that knee, that left knee, towards your heart. Exhale, shoulders down and back. Twisting from the lower belly, from the center, from the upper back. Extend out your fingertips. One last deep breath here. And dropping the left hand down. Tuck the toes and extend the right leg. Take a moment here to feel a nice long line. Really lift that back knee. Make it really active, the back leg. There's no drooping. It's super active. One last deep breath. And now you can slightly bend the back knee to take a big step forward so that you have both big toes together. Releasing your head completely here. Exhale, relax the mouth and the tongue. Exhale, relax your stomach. Release your thoughts so that you can just feel whatever's going on. And take a step back and just accompany the one who's observing all of this. And when you're ready, inhale, flying up. And exhale, hands in front of your heart. Take a deep breath here. Let's spread all 10 toes on the ground. Make sure that our weight is shared between the heels and the balls of the feet. Inhale, taking yourself to sitting. Exhale, flying forward, palms to the ground. Release the head. Inhale, lengthening forward. Exhale, a big step back with your left foot. You're going to open the toes of the back foot and take the entire foot to the ground. The heel will be on the inside in the inner line. All right, so you're going to notice right now that you have a lot of possibilities with your left hip. Your left hip can either be sticking out to the side or it can be pulling towards the back. We want the left hip to be pulling, no, sorry, it's your right hip. Sorry. Your right hip is going to be pulling towards the back. So you're feeling it going as far back as possible. Go ahead and take your right hand to the inside of the right foot. Attach your knee and your shoulder. And again, lift your left elbow or your left hand up to the sky. As you're doing this, that right hip is pulling back. You're almost taking your right armpit in front of your right knee. You're really lengthening that whole right side as much as you possibly can. The hip back, the armpit coming forward. One last deep breath here. And go ahead and drop your left hand to the ground. So you have the option to try this with the back foot on the ground, but if that doesn't feel good to your knee or whatever, it's not working for you, you can lift the back heel off the ground. You can either keep the back heel on the ground or lift it. So do whatever you feel is right for you, and go ahead and lift your right elbow up to the sky or your right hand and take that right hip back and elongate the torso to the other side of your right knee. Really lift that back knee. One last deep breath here. And taking your right hand to the outside of the foot. And we'll take a big step back with our right foot. Another straight line here. If you want to get military today, you can try going elbow, elbow, hand, hand. Elbow, elbow, hand, hand. Elbow, elbow. And now you drop the other elbow down first. Other elbow, elbow, hand, hand. Elbow, elbow, hand. One more time. Elbow, elbow. Bravo. And relax in a ball. Woo. So we're going to lengthen our head forward just enough to lift it. Grab a hold of our elbows with our hands and then cross our fingers. So the width of your elbows now is as wide as you want them to go. Don't keep widening them. Keep them fairly close together. Drop the forehead to the ground, and as you lift your hips, you're going to roll up to the top of the head. And you're just going to roll around and feel different parts of the top of your head pressing into the ground. Feel the back of the head, the front of the head, the sides. See if you can press a bunch of different points of your head into the ground so that your head gets used to having some pressure put on it. It's just a question of a new sensation if you're not used to it. And then see if you can find what the highest point of your head would be and just rest at that place and open your eyes and look between your legs at the world upside down. And if at any point you feel like it's too much pressure on your head, you can just kind of press your elbows into the ground and share the weight between the elbows and the head. So as you push your elbows down into the ground, the weight will lessen on the top of the head. So you can play around with that. Sometimes having more weight on your head, sometimes having more weight in your elbows. We're just going to stay here for another 3 deep breaths. Allowing all of the oxygen to find its way up to the top of the head. And when you're ready, just roll yourself back into a ball and keep your head completely relaxed for a second with the forehead on the ground. If you want to, you can bend your elbows and give yourself a massage in your neck, a massage in the trapezius here, or in your head, in the back of the head. Lengthening the arms forward, coming back up to the table pose. So you have 3 options here. If you don't have a lot of arm strength, then you can go back to this first option, which was dropping your pelvis first before you drop the chest and lifting the pelvis a little bit afterwards. If the second option was quite a challenge for you, then you can keep going with this challenge. If that was not a challenge for you and you want more of a challenge, then as you come forward, you can lift the back leg up too, and then come back and drop the knee to the ground. So you can kind of choose whichever one you want to do. You can do a couple of one, a couple of the other. Try it all out. You want to make sure that you're lifting your belly button to support your lower back, no matter what. And we'll just do 2 more. Well done. And coming all the way down to the ground and releasing completely your arms to your sides. Relaxing everything. Exhale and completely drop your weight into the ground. Let everything go that you can. So this time we're going to start by lifting our feet and grabbing a hold of them with our hands. So we're going to change how we're holding our feet. So watch carefully. I'm going to lift the palms of my hands to cover my toes without letting go of my feet. Oop, sorry. My phone just dropped. Give me a second here to fix it. Okay, I think you'll be able to see me. So here we are, we're grabbing the outsides of our feet. Without letting go, we're going to lift the palms of the hands up to the toes. We're covering our toes now. And now we're going to keep dropping our hands to the inside so our thumbs will be facing up. If you let go of your feet, you might accidentally grab the insides with internal rotation in your shoulders. We want to be holding the insides with external rotation in the shoulders. So you start from the outside, you go up and over, and that way your shoulders are open. Like before, if you have enough flexibility and you can walk your hands to your ankles and flex your feet, then that's an option. If not, just go ahead and grab whatever you can. If it's impossible for you to do this, Then you can take like a towel or something and hold a towel that's wrapped around your ankles. That's around the outside of your ankles, and you can do this all with a towel. So what we do have though is the palms facing away and the shoulders open no matter what. You can either flex or knot your feet. Exhale, lift your belly button, drop your pubic bone down into the ground. Feel your tailbone dropping between your gluteus muscles. Lengthen your head so far forward that it slightly lifts off the ground. Breathe into the X, where the two diagonal lines connect in your torso. Dropping your tail, lengthening the top. Take your feet away from you. So you're going to be opening the shoulders, opening the heart, bringing the shoulder blades together. Breathe into the X. In the center of the back or in the lower back, wherever that X is for you, breathe into it. Give yourself one last deep breath here. And exhale, completely release everything. Just notice whatever sensations there are. And slowly take your hands under your shoulders. We're just going to go to the table pose for a second and do whatever movement your body asks for here in the table pose. It doesn't have to be yoga. It can be whatever your body wants to do. And when you're ready, you're going to tuck your toes to come into your last downward dog of the day. Lifting your heels high, lifting your tailbone high, pressing your shoulders up to your ears. And when you're ready, you're going to roll your shoulders down and back. Release the head. Exhale, release your heels towards the ground. And now as you exhale, you're going to drop one elbow towards the ground and then extend the arm again. Exhale, drop the other elbow towards the ground and extend the arm again. Exhale, dropping one side, extending, dropping the other side. So you'll notice that as you drop the elbow, you go into a slight twist. As I drop one elbow, I can look under the other arm. And as I drop the other elbow, I can look under the other arm. Dropping. You may not go all the way to the ground. That's okay. If you want to try both elbows, you may not go as far, but you can try doing both elbows and coming back. Just a slight drop and a slight lift. Dropping a little bit, coming up a little bit, dropping a little bit. One last time. On either side or with both arms. Bravo. And we're going to take a big step forward with our left foot. We're going to open the toes of the right side and drop the right heel to the ground. Make sure your baby toe is also on the ground. Go ahead and take your left hand to the inside of the left foot. Make sure your shoulder and your knee are connected, and you can lift your right elbow or your right hand up to the sky, whatever you prefer. Take your shoulders away from your ears. Now, you're going to feel your back hip, that left hip, pulling back, and your left armpit coming forward. So that you're lengthening the bottom side of the torso as much as you can. Hip going back, armpit coming forward. One last deep breath here. And go ahead and take your right hand to the ground. You can either leave the back foot on the ground. If it's uncomfortable, you can lift the heel off the ground, whatever you prefer for now. Go ahead and lift your left elbow or your left hand up to the sky. Take that left hip back as far as you can. Take one last deep breath here. And slowly drop the left hand to the ground. Slightly bend your right knee to take a big step forward. Big toes together. Separate all 10 toes on the ground. Feel the weight shared between your heels and the balls of the feet. Release the head. Exhale, relax your mouth and your tongue. Exhale, relax your stomach. Just take a moment to enjoy the sensations here. And whenever you're ready, inhale, flying up. And exhale, hands in front of your heart. Take a couple of deep breaths here, just observing how your body feels. When you're ready, you're going to lift the right heel off the ground. Drop all of your weight down into the left leg. Feel weight in the left heel, the left ball of the foot. Spread the toes of the left foot. And then we're going to open the right hand with the palm facing away from us. And we're going to lift the right foot and grab the inside of the right foot so that our shoulder is opening. So for now, let's go ahead and extend the left arm right in front of us. Exhale and slightly bring your belly button back and drop your tailbone down. Lengthen the top of your head. Feel as much space between the top of your head and your tail as possible. If you have enough flexibility and you can walk your right hand all the way to your ankle, then you can flex the right foot, but it's not necessary. And then if you would like to, you can slowly take the left arm forward and the right foot back. You're going to feel the diagonal in your body. Extend the diagonal through your body. Go as far as you'd like. And when it's been enough for you, slowly come back to your center. And release. Oh, let's do a little bit of shaking out. Just allow your knees to release. Allow your head to release. Exhale, allow your chest to release. Your gluteus muscles. Let your voice go if you can. And inhale, bring your shoulders up to your ears. And release. One more time. Good. And now we're going to go ahead and lift the left heel. Take all your weight over to the right leg. Feel balance between the heel, the ball of the foot, and the spread of the toes of the right foot. You're going to open the left hand, palm facing away from you. And when you're ready, lift the left foot and grab the inside of the left foot. If you can, walk to your ankle. If not, don't worry, just hold whatever you can reach. Extend your right arm directly in front of you. As you exhale, draw your belly button back and drop the tailbone. Lengthen the top of the head and feel as much length as possible between your head and your tail. With all of that length, you're going to slowly extend your right arm forward and your left leg back. Take your time, there's no hurry. And see if you can feel that diagonal line that you were feeling before when we were on the ground in your body while you're doing this pose. All the way from the fingertips to the toes. And when you're ready, slowly, if you can, slowly come back. When you're ready, come down. And we're going to shake out one more time, bringing our hands together and going right, left, all the way up to the top and all the way back down. And one more time. And just observe any sensations that come and go in your body. And while you're observing the sensations, give part of your attention to the one who's observing. You can stay standing for as long as you'd like, and when it's been enough time for you, go ahead and come down. So you have two options now depending on your cervical spine. If you have trouble with your cervical spine, then you can go into a half bow, just laying down and lifting your hips and crossing your fingers behind your back. Actually, we can all do this. Let's all do this first. We're going to all press into the heels and the balls of our feet, spread our toes. Imagine that you have the distance of a football between your feet and between your knees. And you're going to take your shoulders away from your ears and press your shoulders into the ground so that some of the weight is being held by your shoulders. It's not all in your head. There's weight in your shoulders. While we're here, we're going to take a deep breath and fill the lower belly with air. Exhale and drop the belly button towards the spine. One more time. If this is a challenge for you, stay here. If you want more of a challenge, you can lift one leg up to the sky for as long as you'd like to, and then drop it back down and lift the other leg up to the sky. Drop it back down. One last deep breath here. And we're going to separate the arms and roll down vertebra by vertebra. Roll your cervical spine, then feel each vertebra as you press it into the ground as you roll down. Dropping, making its print in the mat. And once you've come all the way down, give yourself a big stretch, lengthening everything. So if you have delicate cervical bones, then you're just going to repeat. If you don't, if you feel like you want to, then you can grab the backs of your legs and swing forward and back and swing yourself into the candle pose. Coming up, and it's the same dynamic. You're going to bring your elbows towards each other. You're going to take your shoulders away from your ears and press them into the ground so that they're sharing the weight. It's not all in the head and the neck. Some of it's in the shoulders. You You can do whatever you like with your legs here. If you want to go into the butterfly pose, you can. If you want to open your feet to the sides, you can. If you want to bring your feet behind you, you can. Press the shoulders into the ground. Lift the tail up. If you want to cross your fingers behind your back again, you can. See if you can relax the mouth and the tongue. See if you can relax your chin towards your chest. See if you can relax your neck muscles. Oftentimes, it's the tension and the worry about hurting our neck that creates the injury. If you can relax and allow the chin to release towards the chest and spread the cervical rather than tensing the back neck muscles. You're doing less of a tension and more of a release. If you'd like to try, you can try taking your hands all the way to the other side and grabbing a hold of your feet and allowing that pull with your hands to help you come down slowly. And when you've come all the way down, go ahead and give yourself another big stretch, lengthening everything. Take your time. If I'm going a lot faster than you want to do, you can go as slow as you need to. And then we'll just finish off with the fish pose, taking our arms underneath the body, bringing our elbows as close together as possible, bringing our shoulders as close together as possible, palms of the hands flat on the ground, and then you can go ahead and straighten your legs out. Take a moment just to stay here first. Exhale and drop your belly button and lengthen your tail. Lengthen your head away from your tail. Have as long of a spine as possible. Pookie, they can't see. And when you're ready, lift your heart and bend your elbows. Oh, have a dog licking my face. Pookie, friend. Stay for as long as you'd like. When it's been enough for you, drop your chin towards your chest and roll yourself down and give yourself a big hug, grabbing the backs of your shoulder blades with your hands. Stay in a big hug for as long as you'd like, and when you're ready, just open your arms to the sides and relax in Shavasana. If you want to do anything else before relaxing, if you need to cover yourself up, put on a jacket, whatever you need, and then completely release your body into the ground. Exhale. And drop the weight of your head into the ground. Exhale, drop the weight of your chest into the ground. Exhale, drop and release the stomach and the lower back. Drop the weight of your hips and your pelvis. Drop the weight of your arms and your legs. Exhale, drop the thoughts into the ground. And just allow yourself the experience of what it feels like to let go. let go more and more. What experience does that give you? And observe how the experience is constantly changing. Things are constantly coming and going. And observe the silence that all of this experience is coming from and going back into. And allow your attention to go into that silence and then just experience that silence, that expansiveness. Stay here for as long as you'd like. When your body's ready to move, allow it to. And wherever you are, you can be sitting or lying down. We'll just take 3 deep breaths and sing Om 3 times together. And inhaling to sing. Om. long as you'd like. Thank you so much. Namaste.